Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm the host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, the best, the greatest, Becky Alley.
Present. Good morning, everybody, on this gloomy, kind of humid Haven Saturday.
Sounds like a beautiful day outside for me. We got some great guests in. Eric Wright.
It's beautiful for you because you don't have hair that's going to grow as the time goes.
We'll definitely get there. Eric Wright and Yasmin, the great Yaz Abdul Latif from Social House Group. You guys, awesome to have you in here. You guys are the talk of the town, really, for the last few years here. So we're going to get into all of that. This is 1 Hour Mortgages and Real Estate, Becky.
I'm excited. So this dynamic duo that's in the studio, it's been a long time coming. I mean, if you haven't heard about Social House Group, I don't know where you're at on social media because you're clearly not out here, right? So Social House, so Eric Wright and Yaz, they've literally are taking the real estate industry, the old way of doing business, and they're flipping it on its back. You know, you're leveraging the social media, really schooling people on the better way of doing it. And I have to say, if you are a Saturday Night Live fan like I am, I'm here and living for all of your guys' little videos, like the performance review one, dying, and then the it was like the emotional support group, and it's like, it's been 2 days since your sister used another agent. It's freaking hilarious. I love it.
Thank you.
You guys definitely
those are super fun.
Oh my God, I love it.
I was sort of stalking Tube last night, Becky, to see what these guys had on the videos and stuff, and a lot of good energy. And that's what we like. Again, real estate, as I was telling you guys, we've been doing the show for 23 years. Sometimes not as sexy because it's housing. I mean, this is a need. This is a serious need. There's a lot of money, a lot of moving parts, as we always say. And you got to have that right team together. I like your team concept over there. And again, you guys are using the technology to really advance where people are going to be buying houses and sort of a new way to go ahead and approach buying and selling real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was ultimately why I got into real estate 8 years ago, and I know why Yaz and I really clicked, is she had the same vision for just kind of understanding the importance of getting people's homes in front of more people. I think that right now a lot of agents just get stuck in the habit of just throwing the house on the MLS and it automatically feeds over everywhere else, but sellers are starting to realize they can do that themselves and get the same exposure. So the real threat to our industry isn't Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com, but rather just agents that are actually doing something for their clients to add more value.
So it's like the real issue is the bad agents out there.
Yeah, big time. Big time. I mean, we definitely don't believe in just sticking a sign in front of a house and, you know, like Eric was saying, relying on Zillow and Trulia and all those websites. Like, we really believe in leveraging social media and making sure that we do reach out to those people who, you know, maybe aren't on Zillow every single day, but they are on Facebook.
I agree with that. I think that if someone is just looking online, like Googling, right, I feel like they're doing themselves a disservice because online sometimes is a liar, right? You got the Zestimate and all those things.
Oh, yeah.
But you have a lot of people where they are going through this thought process where they thought, well, why do I need an agent? I can do it myself. And what I love about the transparency about you, Eric, especially, and the overall like brand of Social House is that you expose that. You're not afraid to shine a light and be like, you're right, Mr. Seller. What do you need me for? And I'm going to tell you why you need me, and this is how, because you're literally just exposing everyone that is just not doing their best to really shine a light on their clients.
Yeah, I think the key in any scenario, no matter what business you're in, is just setting the right expectations. And I think a lot of agents nowadays, they don't really have a great value add to sellers specifically, but buyers the same way, to where they almost oversell themselves because they want to win the business. Whereas in reality, if you just set the right expectations, you actually have a strategy that truly is adding value to them. They're going to see that pretty transparently, to where you're not going to have to say their house is worth 20% more than it actually is just to win the listing, and then have to worry about backpedaling 3 months down the road when it hasn't sold in a market where things basically sell themselves.
Right. I hear that. And I feel like, are you guys getting more of a push from Facebook specifically? Are there other social media avenues that you guys are kind of utilizing, or is Facebook really just, because I think Facebook is a great place. I mean, that's where people are always pushing and selling everything, even from their freaking old mattress, for Pete's sake, sometimes.
Well, Instagram, Facebook, yeah, all the above.
Yeah, I mean, we're slowly starting to tap into all the other platforms outside of Facebook. I've always approached it, Yaz and I have, as far as the speed at which people use these platforms. And if you think about it, Facebook is by far the slowest moving platform. When people are on that social media platform, they're basically reading updates on friends and family. They're seeing what's going on in everyone's life. Whereas Instagram, if you think about how you're flowing through that, you're pretty much just liking posts and proceeding to the next. You're not really commenting on things very frequently. Snapchat, obviously the same. It's very, quick and over with. Twitter, same story. So Facebook's always been the best platform from like a lead gen standpoint, whereas you can use these other platforms like Snapchat and Instagram, Twitter and TikTok for more branding purposes. So the videos that you were referencing, like Yaz comes up with most of those ideas as far as
So
those
good.
videos. And that's kind of what we use those platforms for, is more so to just show our personality. People ultimately work with people they like. So being able to leverage those platforms to throw out some good video content to show the behind the scenes of things, with Facebook being more driven towards actually marketing, advertising, and, you know, converting things into leads and selling homes.
Yeah, you guys are definitely letting the public know, which sort of separates you from all the different people out there. Of course, using technology, sort of highlighting and targeting your audience that way, which is fantastic. Hey, we're going to take your calls all morning long. You might want, if you're a real estate agent, give these guys a call and definitely join Eric Wright's group down there, Social House Realty. They're dynamite. 248-539-9797. Always 1 hour of the hardcore mortgage real estate business show. We got sports after this all day long here, and of course, Tiger Baseball a little bit later today. Becky, there's been so much action out there in the beginning of the year. We see a little bit slower, obviously, than the pandemic years. There's not as many sales, but boy, oh boy, the values are up because the inventory is down.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a 10-year housing shortage, and even right now, new construction, they are hesitant to even build homes right now because they don't want to risk any of that portfolio because the interest rates are so high. And the reason I bring that up is I have a couple where they're moving to, I think it's Florida. So we're licensed, we're a national lender, all 50 states. This one's particular in Florida. And the builder reached out to me. They're like, hey, you're not the in-house lender. You know, what is this, that? And the other thing is this buyer well qualified. And he flat out said that once we bottom line it, he wants me to get an approval within the first 14 days because the builder specifically is not willing to take any risk on a wishy-washy kind of transaction because his particular lender couldn't get my client approved. And I feel like a lot of that is going on out there right now where you have a lot of these lenders that are a little bit on the inexperienced side. They've gotten in the game over the last several years, and it's kind of exposing some of this inexperience with across the board. And we get a lot of calls when you're like, hey, can you fix this transaction? But we're not losing transactions because of rate. I feel the biggest issue right now is these buyers being overexposed with having to bring like $10,000, $15,000 over asking. I feel like that is more so going to be the issue that people have to overcome over these rates.
You guys, at inventory levels, obviously a 2.2 month supply, that's an all-time low. It's not a balanced market out there at all, but days on the market, 17 days before homes are actually getting that purchase agreement signed. You guys are doing a little bit better than that. I saw, Eric, you put it out there. I mean, it's pretty much 8 days on these moving condition houses, and you guys counsel so that when the house hits the marketplace, it's pretty much ready to sell. You got it all dressed up.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a kind of, I guess, a pre-listing strategy that goes into play where we're helping them get their house ready to go. And I mean, truthfully, in this market, what we tell our clients is it's not really, is it going to sell? Pretty much anybody can sell your house that's even remotely competent in this industry right now, but it's more so how much. And that's where understanding how to maximize the amount of exposure you're getting that house comes into play. And that's where our strategy really does well with regards to, anybody can throw their house on all those third-party websites like the Zillow and Realtor.com, et cetera. But when we're able to take about 1/3 of our commission, invest it back into the advertising for the home by creating a video and photos and a floor plan and drone, and then most importantly, based on understanding of who's going to buy that house, we can build out a custom target audience on the back end of Facebook. And then we boost that out, meaning that we're actually investing parts of our commission into those paid ads to subsequently get that house in front of an extra 200,000 to 250,000 people just over the course of 5 to 7 days.
Wow.
And then that'll naturally have that trickle-down effect of the more people that see it online, the more people walk through, more people that see it in person tend to write more offers, and then more offers means more competition and naturally more money in your pocket.
You guys were advertising everything that you had sold. I mean, it looked like 6 in a row that were $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking. Yes, let me run to you on this one. Could you imagine that typically in the old days, it was like 45 days on the market? Could you imagine now if you took a listing and you didn't have that house sold in 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Oh, I know.
Something's seriously wrong.
It really is. And I've been doing real estate since the crash. So like watching what it looked like back in 2008 versus what it looks like now. I mean, some homes were sitting on the market for almost a year.
Yeah.
And we were seeing multiple buyers and we were seeing more inventory.
Yeah.
And basically we were just seeing everything get lowballed, and that's pretty much how everybody was picking up all those listings. So yeah, it's pretty crazy now to see those homes go a little stale. 1 week is like
They're
too
like
much.
you're
What's
2
going
years
on here?
news.
Like, what's wrong?
All right, when we come back, we're up against our first break, and we come back 248-539-9797. Buying and selling real estate. Come on, join us. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. That'd be cool. Work with a top 10 lender in the country. I don't know. I think we're
sounds
only,
good to me.
Only number 1 or 2 in USDA, FHA, and VA loans in the country. I think I can confidently say that. Anyways, work with us. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender, NMLS 2289. And you can find Becky and Harvey and a whole staff all weekend long. Call us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I want to thank any of the callers calling in here. We got Roger lined up, 248-539-9797. Good morning, Roger. Welcome to our show.
Hey, good morning. It might sound like a stupid question, but is there a difference between maybe getting a mortgage for a house as opposed to like your small little hunting cabin up north?
Say the question again. You're trying to get a mortgage on a small house, is that what you said?
Well, no, like just a small little hunting cabin up north, that you would go to for like the 4th of July.
Yeah, vacation home or something like that. I mean, those small ones that used to be 25, 30 are now like 100,000, I think.
For sure, that.
Not that hard, not easy to find. I think, Becky, where he's going with it is, do I take the equity out of my house and get one of these home equity loans, or can I get a second mortgage on a vacation home? And sure you can.
You can definitely get a second mortgage or do a second mortgage up for a second home, but I will be honest with you, the rates right now on second homes are not great. So the interest rates are actually better on investment properties than they are for second homes. And the part of that is because, people were kind of taking advantage of, the interest rate being the same on a primary as a secondary, but only had to do 10% down.
What I'm saying is those cabins you might see for like $35,000 or $40,000. It's just like a little one bedroom. Can you get a mortgage?
You can.
Yes.
You can if they meet the criteria of the housing. Again, sometimes they're not on the proper foundations. They can be tough to get mortgages on, depending upon the condition of a small. Again, you're saying a small house / maybe a small log cabin. It might be a difficult loan. Again, I don't think they're available. Anyone out there wants one of these for $35,000? Becky, I'll take one.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure Yaz and Eric will find you one.
All
right.
All right. You got. Hey, do you have the equity in your house right now? Do you think? I would go get a home equity loan. Let's give you some good advice here.
Yeah.
I would probably go entertain a home equity loan. I don't know if I want to make it a home equity line of credit. Maybe if you buy $35,000, you get a home equity line of credit for $50,000. It gives you a little bit of extra playing money.
Or, even just not even a home equity line. You can even think about doing a cash out refinance. It'll be properly disclosed depending on whatever your rate is. But we'll give you a call after the show. We'll talk about whether it is advantageous for you to finance it as a second home, depending on how much money you're going to put down on this hunting cabin you have your eyes set on. And then we'll also hook you up with Yaz and Eric after the show, so that way they can find you the right one within a price point that is what you're seeing on Zillow, if it's accurate.
Thanks for the call, Raj. That's good stuff. All right, 248-539-9797. We're going to keep going here. We only got an hour show. We definitely want to hear from you. That's good stuff, though. Do you have the equity in your house to do some other things with it? Do the right thing with it. If you want to buy a second home, a vacation home, and they're still available for $35,000, I'm just afraid. I'm going to be saying out loud.
I want to see it. I want to see. Is it a bucket?
They're a little rough. Just okay. If you're just going up there once a year, twice a year, if you think that's a good investment, go for it.
Yeah, if it's like a shack, like almost like a blind,
I
don't know, but I don't know about all that. But I haven't seen much of second homes up north for $30,000, but if they exist, our people from Social House Group will find it for you, and
they'll get it. They'll get it.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, let me run this one back out to you. Rising rates, of course. It's cooled off some of the marketplace. There's definitely some buyers out there that had a second guess, first-time home buyer struggling. Affordability definitely sort of creeps into there when you had a budget set at like $225 and you're stretching yourself, and now the rate burps up a little bit, and now you're looking maybe $195. Talk to me a little bit about that. Are you feeling it, or is there still enough housing coming on the marketplace that's going to fill in that void?
Yeah, I think it's working in two ways right now. I think there's definitely a subsection of the market that is being priced out, where, back when it was 2.75, they could afford a house for $500K, and now they can afford something for $400K. And believe it or not, $400K in this market is a dramatically different home than $500,000. So in one sense, it's definitely pricing some people out to where they can no longer afford the home they really want. But on the flip side of that, I am starting to see inventory pick up, and I think that's partially a product of the fact that these homeowners are starting to see rates go up, which naturally is going to lead to a price, pullback eventually, I would think. So they're like, okay, now I need to get my house listed ASAP and start looking before that market kind of pulls back. And one example I give all my clients, and full disclosure, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but I reference realized and unrealized losses and gains, where it's like if you decide to wait for the market to pull back 20% so you can get a better deal on a new house, but you own a house, you're losing 20% cash equity in your house which has a way bigger impact than if you sell your house now, maximize your profits, and then turn around and buy something. Who cares if the market pulls back 10 to 20%? You're probably not going to be moving for another 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
So those losses are unrealized.
Well said. 2008 to 2010, the people that bailed out on their homes, most of them should have hung in there, and they would have been sitting on a gold mine 10 years later. And again, as we know, rents have gone through the roof.
I never understood that, honestly. Like, I remember taking those calls. We're like, well, I'm going to walk away. Why?
Bad advice.
It was horrible. I don't know. Like, I would tell them, like, absolutely not. Do not do that because you can afford your house. You're just being stubborn because you think it depreciated in value. So now you want to go and rent somewhere. I don't know. I didn't understand any of that.
There was some bad lending out there, you know, in the prior years, or some bad people in any industry. You know, there's bad everything, and you got to be careful with it. There were some people that were $150,000. They owed $350 on the $200,000 house. Those people, I don't know. Maybe it was okay for them to walk away. I'm not saying good or bad. Whatever happened in your life. You can come back though, and a lot of families did. I love that part about it. When we were refinancing, the people that hung in there, when we were getting, even people who did the foreclosures and short sales, they were coming back to us and buying homes. Hey, everyone knows they didn't want to be renters. That was the number one thing. They got a taste of rent, and they're saying, I'm not doing this. I want to get back in the housing market.
Well, the biggest thing right now is we are in an affordability squeeze more so than we ever have been. You know, renting is not an option. You know, you have, and I feel like the renting, because of the increase with these, you know, all these investors that gobbled up all these properties over the years, they are pushing up the price points for these rents. And I do think that it's also pushed more buyers into the market, like you're talking about, where, okay, I have a choice now. Do I want to pay 19% more in interest rate, you know, in someone else's rent, or do I want to invest in myself? And I don't think that the interest rate increasing is going to really, it's not going to stop people from buying, because the reality is that we have been in a refinance boom for the last 10 years, 8 years even, right? There's a lot of cash out there, and a lot of people pulled cash out of their home, and there's a lot of cash flowing within these homes. It's pushing this market, you know, to where it is.
Definitely a new changing marketplace. You want to jump in on that one, guys? Definitely. You know, even when you start, you know, just like 2 years ago when this pandemic thing started, we're off that pandemic. I feel like we're out of it. I mean, people are still getting sick. But right now we're in a different phase of home ownership.
Yeah, I mean, myself included, you know, everybody's been waiting for the market to drop. You know, there's people that I was working with back in 2019 that said, you know, next year. And now market's up 30%. And I think there's every possible condition that would lead to a potential pullback. But I could say the same about 2020. And, you know, here we are. So I think people that are just continuously waiting, I joke, we say it's like, if you could time the market, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, because you'd be way richer than I am, way richer than any of your peers, because you would know exactly when to time, when to buy, when to sell. So in the grand scheme of it all, I think, you know, rates are still historically low. You know, they're higher relative to what they've been the last several years. But, you know, my parents' first mortgage was like 14%. You know? So it's like, they're still not that bad. You can still finance a house at 5%, which is, you know, close to free money in a sense, you know, where you can't do that in most countries. So.
No, I actually posted, I always talk about my grandma, right? Because my grandma, she like will laugh at people with these interest rates. So I posted a picture of her yesterday because she's freaking gangster. But she's like, I can't handle these people, bitch, you know, complaining about 7%. She's like, I paid 14% in my day. And she just laughs with this little cute little Southern accent. I mean, it's
she's
hilarious.
Not getting off that hill. She's up there. In April, of course, median home prices jumped 14.8%. Eric, like you said, they're waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for. They didn't build enough houses. And then, I don't know, I even look back like 10 years. Maybe some of these huge builders were swallowing up the smaller builders. Now, I'm not going to name names out there, but we had a lot of great builders here that built up Southeast Michigan. Then the big players came into town. Well, they got their eye off the ball of building houses. They started opening up mortgage companies and title companies. Folks, they need to stick with building houses. Look what the mess they've created now. Build houses. Stick to be what you're good at. Stick with that. And again, hopefully one day we'll see this new construction popping up. There are some pockets, and as I went to the east side, and if I go west here, 696, definitely the new coming areas, your South Lyons, Van Buren Township, and quite a bit on the east side still. So it's fun to see the new construction popping up. Not going to be enough inventory there that's going to keep the demand down for housing. You guys, you want to jump in on that one? Do you have some clients even looking at new construction?
I do actually. Yeah. So you just mentioned Van Buren, and I think that's an easier place to look just because those new construction prices are a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So I do have clients looking that way, and it's really a timing thing. So I think if they have the time, I think if they have like that 12 months to sit on, and I know some are, 8 to 9 months. I know that some of them say that.
Yes, it's keyword say that.
Yeah.
And then it's like goes 2 years later.
Right. And then it's 8 to 9 months, and then it's 10, and then it's 12. So it kind of depends, right? But yeah, I mean, my clients right now, if they have the time to sit and wait for new construction to come up, then all day, I mean, that's when they're going to be able to get, all the different things that they want instead of dealing with a lot of the competition right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if they don't have time, that's when they got to hit the market and really start to compete.
I think existing homes, I mean, honestly, like for me, like with new construction, the idea of like, I don't like to wait, right? I like instant gratification sometimes. And with new construction, it's not. You're literally putting it out there for everyone else. And, yes, it's true. There was not enough homes built in the last 10 years, but there are, like Eric was pointing out, inventory is hitting the market. Naturally, this time of year, you're going to see that push. And like he was mentioning, you got that FOMO, right? It's like when the stock market changes a little bit, you're like, oh my God, it's down. I have to hurry up and sell. Well, if you're selling at that point, you've already lost money, right? And the interest rates and the housing market, like we're not going to see a bubble. Like I want to just point out that if someone told you in 2006 you're going to lose 20% equity in your home, would you have still bought that house? Probably yes, because you needed to. And even like you're talking about in 2020, if someone's like, okay, in 2023, you might lose 10% of what you invested in the house. Are you going to still buy the house? Yes, they still would have bought those homes for sure.
Becky, I wish I was more diversified and had some more real estate because, boy, those markets are getting crushed now. Holding on to some real estate might be the way to go. 248-539-9797. All of your calls when we come back. We are back. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all week long, all weekend at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I want to, of course, welcome back Eric Wright. And yes, she's the legend, Abdullah Latif. I got that, don't I? Do I have that right? Abdullah Latif.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good with it.
It just
rolls
rolls
off my
right
tongue.
off the tongue.
It's like every letter of the alphabet, but if you actually, slow down and read it, you can.
You're known by Yaz in town, of course, Social House Group and a technology-driven real estate company. Vision-minded like people, man. Go over there. They got it going on. It's really a lot of fun and excitement. You got lots going on. You guys are a little humble about it. I'm not. Tell us a little bit more, Eric. You got some things coming up.
Yeah, so we're all about, I think, like the most valuable commodity in the world nowadays for business is attention, right? Getting people to pay attention to whatever you're doing. And that's really what we're trying to gear this whole business to, where, yes, we do obviously specialize in real estate. However, one thing we're launching on June 1st, Social House News. My dad, Ed Wright, he's been an award-winning writer for his entire life. Wrote for the Free Press, The Observer, POAM for many years. And we had this idea to start our own local news company. And the concept behind it is to really the tagline is good news only, just to shed light on local businesses, local people that are doing good things in the community, really just spotlight those that are doing positive things and showcase them, because we do have a lot of eyeballs on what we're doing. So it gives us an opportunity to really showcase those individuals and get in front of more people.
All right, hey guys, you know what? We got a lot to share. We got a whole bunch of things you got going on. Let's go to Sean. We don't have Sean on the line too long there. Good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining our show. Go ahead with your question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So my dad is pretty sick. He owns his own house, and we've been advised by both a title company and a lawyer to put the house on a ladybird deed.
Yes.
So my mom's on the title as well, but she's not on their mortgage. It would be payable to her, it would be transferred to me on his passing, not hers.
Yeah.
So how would that affect their mortgage and then my credit and
Not
my
at all.
ability to
Not at
work
all.
with that?
It just affects who's on title to the house. It's not going to affect your credit. And again, what would affect your credit is just making sure that those mortgage payments are made on time. And again, in the event of somebody becoming deceased in the future, again, we're not looking forward to those days, but the title of the house, it'll go to the next people in line on the title, your mom and you. Again, not affecting anyone's credit. You reach out to the lender at the time if you want. Otherwise, people usually don't. They just continue to make the house payments. And again, eventually we move our families out maybe into our homes or nursing homes or whatever that.
Right.
Sometimes they stay in the house. Again, there's reverse mortgages we offer, and we're allowed to keep our family members in there.
Yeah, well, I know my mom's got the ability. We have the ability to pay the mortgage and continually do that. That's all set up. I'm just curious as to, do we need to let the mortgage company know, or is it no problem just to pay the mortgage?
You really don't. You'll be okay with it. I mean, you might want to reach out to them, but just record the deed. Get the attorneys involved and just run that by your attorney, because they're going to draw up a quitclaim deed for you or the Lady Bird deed. You'll get that recorded with the title company, and there should be no issues at all. That's fine.
So like the title element is just to make sure that, when, God forbid, when that moment happens, that you don't have to deal with probate, right? It's establishing your ownership within the property. It has nothing to do with the loan. The loan is separate, but it's automatically putting you, so that way you have the ability to claim ownership of that house, to make sure that it's not going to get tied up in the court system after the fact, and just make an easy transition for everybody, so you're not leaving everything in chaos.
Okay, great.
Good stuff,
Cool.
man. Thanks, Sean. Sean, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right, 248-539-9797. Like when we get a good call like that, and that definitely helps some families out there. But we do see that, Becky, in 2022. I'm sort of shocked because it's not that expensive to put together a trust or get these deeds. Again, if you have some folks out there, and again, we don't know until you need to know. Get your names on title, find out what the wishes are, will, estate planning. It's very important stuff that you get these all set up.
Yeah, like I was just mentioning, you don't want to leave it in chaos, right? So you have to plan for the inevitable. That is one thing that is, going to be certain in our life. At one point, we will leave this place, and, and it's okay to talk about it and set your family up for success behind you. I just set myself up on a trust, similar situation, just to make sure that my family is protected. And even if you're trying to do a refinance, if, let's just say someone, there was a divorce situation and the house was awarded to, your new spouse, and now you're adding that person to title, that's just going to make it smoother and easier for you in the future. And you can add anyone to your own title, but you can't take anyone off once they're on there. They have to sign off on that. That's important to know.
All right. Again, we'd run into certain things again. You start putting your family on all these different titles, and then they go to get a mortgage, and all of a sudden it shows ownership that they own 3 different houses. Again, that's a different question and concern. Get the professionals involved in your life. Always a quick call to Capital Mortgage Funding. It doesn't cost you anything to get some good advice for a change. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Again, Eric Wright here, and the great Yaz Abdul-Latif from Social House Group, and you guys are a lot of fun to have on here. Let's go back to inventory negotiations and sellers' motivation. It's one of the things that the nuts and bolts of our industry is really once we, meet the people, is really putting that whole plan together. And Eric and Yaz, I know you guys are really good at that and sort of settling what's going on out there. We said some people are for sale by owners. For crying out loud, a lot of them think it's easy. It's just not a way to go nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like there's no doubt in my mind you can sell your house yourself. It's not a matter of if it's going to sell, it's how much. And again, it all really just trickles down to exposure and just how many people are actually seeing your home. And as a homeowner trying to sell your home, you have so many other things going on to where, A, you're naturally going to allow way fewer showings than would be allowed with a listing agent, just because you're having to orchestrate them all. You're having to worry about getting everything scheduled and being in and out of the house constantly and showing it. You probably want to be there with the buyers when they're walking through. But more importantly, there's just not nearly as many people seeing your home if you're just relying on Zillow or Realtor.com or whichever platforms you decide to leverage. So by no means am I one to say that you can't sell your home by owner, nor am I one to say that you can't sell your home with a real estate agent that just throws it on the MLS for you. But you're definitely leaving money on the table, no matter which way you look at it, even despite the fact that you may be paying a listing agent 3%, as long as they're reinvesting that money back into the actual sale of your house through paid advertising, photos, video, etc.
So how about you get into that? Yeah, go ahead.
It's also a really emotional thing. I think I read a stat a couple years ago that said that selling a home is the 3rd hardest thing that you can do after death and divorce. So when you're actually on the front line of selling your own home, there's a lot of, sentiment and emotion that goes into that. So you might have a hard time negotiating with a buyer who's, telling you that maybe your home's worth less than you think it is. So it's a lot easier to give it to a listing agent who doesn't have that same sentiment towards your home. I mean, obviously we care, and obviously we're going to make sure we do the right thing for you and get you the highest dollar, but we remove some of the emotion and we negotiate and go to bat for you.
I mean, you're talking about maximum exposure. Okay. So when you are for example, I don't have time to do anything for myself. Literally, I work. My job is to motivate other people to do what I need them to do. But you try to find something for me to do, like me sell my own house. Forget about it. So that's where you guys step in, because who has time for that? You're talking about you got to get your dogs out of the house, your kids out of the house. Yep. Your phone's going off because you got 25 people lining outside the door. Yep. And you brought up the commission element. I want to know. So like people think, okay, you're very transparent, and it's a breath of fresh air for you guys. Like I really like your model, your authenticity. Just you're out here being so true and authentic to yourselves and the brand that you're building. When someone's like, I don't want to pay 3% commission or 6% commission to the listing agent, I feel like people don't know what they don't know, and they don't know where all that money is going. And it's not just going in your pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the industry where you absolutely get what you pay for, and I can say the same on the lender side. It's like you may be going to somebody that on paper has a lower rate, but little do you know your closing date's going to get pushed out 4 weeks, and then you're going to have to pay for a rate lock extension, or your rate's going to spike up, or one thing or another. But the same is true for selling your house, where 50% of real estate agents don't even pay for professional photos, which in this day and age, everybody starts their home search online. And I've noticed over the past 12 to 18 months, my buyers look at about 50% of the amount of homes that they did prior to like buying a home. And the reason for that is because the quality of content on some of these listings is so much better. So they can weed them out, if they don't want to go look at them. But your house could be absolutely gorgeous and it's just presented poorly, and somebody might skip over it for that reason. And so on top of the fact that only about 50% of agents actually spend money on listing photos, less than 1% of agents actually do any marketing for you after. So what we do at Social House is we basically break our commission into thirds. And I think it helps conceptualize things a lot better, where 1/3 of our commission is gone with taxes right off the rip. 1/3 of that commission goes towards marketing. That's professional photos, video tour, the Facebook advertising, etc. And then the last third is left over for us. But then we also have our broker fees that we're paying, and everything along those lines. So in the grand scheme of it all, while you are investing in a listing agent, that money should be, if you're working with the right person, getting invested right back into you, to where it's easily going to overcome that expense by making you substantially more money for your house. and you're also getting top-notch service, and you're maximizing the exposure for your home, and naturally, it's showing up on your bottom line.
That $1 million house sort of sells, and you get there the same way you do as a $200,000 house. But it's online viewing has just been crazy. It's been great. It's been a great way
it's your first impression.
It's so fantastic out there. And again, with the new technology out there, with even someone could do it.
Everyone's online. Even my dad's online. Okay,
right, everyone's out there.
My dad's like putting viruses on my mom's computer all the time. My dad's even online, so he's got his own computer now.
But you guys got to get to that house and still check it out. I mean, on the obviously more expensive ones, if you're an investor and you got a whole pile of money and it's $100,000 house and you can trust your agent, then you don't have to go there. But for most homes, you got to get to that house quickly now.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can't get to that home quickly, ask your agent to do a virtual showing, or ask them to go through the home and record take a video of the property so that you can get in. Because some people can't drop everything and go the next day because, that's how quickly homes are flying off the market. So I've definitely had clients who have asked me to go and do virtual tours or just record,
I'd be
what's going
here
on in the house
for that and be like, just show me all the bad stuff.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to see,
zoom in on those moldings, like what's going on back there,
yeah,
what's going on in the
exactly.
attic.
I want to see all the bad stuff.
Didn't we say we were going to take our home inspector with us on the first viewing alone?
Oh, yeah,
that's
right. You can do that.
Then you're done. We don't need the inspection. All right, 248-539-9797. We're up against a quick break. When we come back, all your questions. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. I'm Harvey Freed, Becky Alley, of course, Eric Wright, and Yaz Abdul Latif. I love saying that. It's so good. Yaz, you're the best. Everyone knows Yaz. They just knows Yasmin by Yaz. She's great. Social House Group. Great place if you're looking to buy or sell real estate. Get some great people out to your home. On hold right now with us, Harry Glanz, jumping in. Hey, Harry, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, first-time caller, long-time listener. How you guys doing?
Hey.
It's your show, Harry.
So check this out. So I'm listening to the show this morning, running around, listening to the show like I do, and I heard Eric say something very, very important, right? He said that he spends money to go ahead and market his client's house, and you get what you pay for. We absolutely believe that all the agents that we work with, if they are not spending money to market their clients' homes and taking the best pictures, hiring the best staging company, doing the best marketing, it's the same thing in lending. Every loan officer I know of out there, they don't like to spend money. But we spend money as a lender to make sure that our people are doing the right thing. And, Eric, I got to hand it to you. You know what it takes. There's that old saying, you got to spend money to make money. If they're not spending money, they're not treating their clients right.
Yeah, sometimes you got to reach in your own pocket, too,
Scared
Eric.
money
right?
don't make money.
Eric, you got to get in there and clean
right.
the house, and that's what you said. You actually put those things that said, yeah, you're going to go into some houses that need some loving, and the difference is without that professional eye and that advice that you guys are giving, they're not going to maximize. We're talking about maximizing your profit here. You're going to need that money to buy your next house.
Yeah, Harry, I appreciate it. I think a lot of our industry really just stems from not knowing too. I think, in Michigan, the average real estate agent is 52 years old. My parents, they turned 60 this year. They didn't grow up with an iPhone. They didn't grow up with social media. They didn't grow up with basically all this new technology that can now be used to better service our clients. But there's just this very big discrepancy in knowledge of how to leverage those things. People don't know how to go leverage Facebook ads and pay for Instagram ads and things like this. And if they're not working at a brokerage that understands it, naturally they're not going to be able to implement it in their own business. And so that's really why I got into this industry in the first place. Is my background was actually in tech. I worked at a tech startup in Detroit when I originally got into real estate. And I just saw this huge opportunity to take advantage of all this new technology and bring it into an industry that is dominated by people my parents' age, essentially, and kind of put a new spin on it. And ultimately, just to your point, just do more for my sellers and my clients and my buyers. And, again, I can't even really fault the real estate agents themselves because it's not being pushed on them to do these things. Yaz always jokes, like every single day I'm on our agents talking about, consistency, and doing the right things over and over and over again. And naturally, at the end result of that, you're going to end up making more money and building a business for yourself. But with us being in an industry that's 100% commission, most people are afraid to bet on themselves, and they're afraid to bet on a strategy they may not know works directly for them. And so naturally,
there you go. Well, keep up the great work. Keep up the great work. I'll let you guys go. Yaz, Harvey, and Becky, always a pleasure. You guys are the best, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Harry, thanks for joining us again. Harry Glanz.
See you later.
Tons of information to share with you here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show, 248-539-9797. You want to sneak a call, and we're up to our last little bit here of the show at about 12 minutes or so. And again, you could always call us at the office or call these guys at Social House Group. Just go ahead online and you'll find them. Social House Group, a lot of great information to share if you're looking to buy or sell real estate. Hey, quick shout out and our prayers, of course, to our friends up in Gaylord. That's us, man. That is right there in the heart of our state. Stay blessed up there, folks. We're praying for you. Again, a lot of cleanup there as a tornado came by yesterday, dinner time-ish, and wiped out quite a few buildings. Somebody lost their life, and a lot of people are injured up there. So, again, if you're headed up there to help, stay blessed, everybody, and good luck to you folks up there in Gaylord or people headed up there. 248-539-9797. Again, on the bright side down here, again, getting a little cloudy out there, but, Becky, we are in the midst of home buying season. So many families were shut out of the marketplace in the last couple of years. Inventory really at all-time lows. Again, about a 2.2 month supply is what the papers are telling me, Beck. Multiple bids still happening on those nice houses. But, Becky, we are still talking to families that I get a call today that says, hey, I found a house I like, and I want to make an offer tomorrow, and they're not approved. And there's so many fakers still in our industry, Becky. This is the hardcore portion of the show. I want to shout out there to a lot of lenders. Get out of our industry because you're jamming up a lot of families. We're still getting the calls from real estate agents. They're supposed to close next week, and they're like, hey, my lender just dropped the ball. Folks, deal with the real lenders. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. If you want to comment on that, Becky, I'm still getting those goofy calls.
I mean, yeah, right now we're in that that player. We're separating the players versus the pretenders right now in this market, and this is something that Social House Group is shedding a light on. Kind of Eric just touched on it as well. You have between the ages of 26 to 35, that's 45 million people in that age bracket that is entering in the housing market. And you mentioned, the average real estate agent is a little bit, older, and that technology, it wasn't around for them, right? They don't know what they don't know. And what you guys are doing is your business model is just setting a light on maximum exposure, right? And that's something that's key. And I want to talk about like your guys' events that you have going on too. Like I was one of the sponsors at your first Social House Social, right? You brought in some of the top dogs from other real estate brokerages because you're pushing that, collaboration over competition, because that really is what's going to separate this market and set everyone up for success.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that event too. I think Eric joked about that, and he said it's one of those things where like you invite people to a party and you don't know that many people were actually going to show up. But yeah, it went really, really well. We had over 100 people, and we're all about collaboration in the industry, and that's definitely what we want to do. Like we don't want to point fingers at other realtors and talk any other brokerages down. So we're all about that, and we do definitely have more events coming up. We want to do that every quarter. And the next one that's coming up in August, we don't have a location or a date yet, but we will soon. And it's going to be Women in Leadership. So we hope to get more involved with the community from a leadership standpoint. And, we hope to see you there again, Becky.
For sure.
And we definitely want to celebrate just women and the entrepreneurship and, just everything that comes with that. So if you are a business leader in the community, please reach out to us at Social House Group. We'd love to hear from you. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And stay tuned for that date.
I love that. Like I actually ran into Justin Ford. He was one of the speakers at your guys' event, and he was at an event where I was at, and we were talking about how our generation, the one that is going to leave the real estate behind us, we are making it a better place. And how we're doing that is when we got in the business, me specifically, I didn't have someone to show me what to do, what not to do. I didn't have someone taking me around to these events and how to talk and not to talk. But he was there with two of his newer agents. And to me, we got in that conversation about this is the next generation. Things are changing, and you're either going to adapt or you're going to get left behind. And you guys are really on the forefront of just flipping everything on its axis and changing it and just shedding a light on like there is a better way to do business. You can work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of going back to your collaboration versus competition concept. So the way I've always approached this, and even when I started Social House, I get asked by our agents all the time, are you ever worried that too many people are going to start leveraging this strategy to where it's going to dilute it and naturally not going to be as effective? And logically, I wouldn't have started Social House if I was worried about that. This is how I make money. So why would I go teach everybody else how to do something if I was concerned that it was going to start to eat into my, my pockets, whatever it was, which at the end of the day, I don't do this for the money. But the way I've always approached competition is competition breeds awareness, to where eventually what's going to end up happening is homeowners are going to start to say, okay, if I'm selling my house with a realtor, they have to be using Facebook. And the only way that you're going to start to get people to say that is by having more than just myself and our agents using that platform to do so. And it absolutely works. But I think over the next couple of years, we're going to start to see that become a requirement. And my hope is that, once they do that and they say, okay, now who's the best at it, they're going to look at us because, we've been doing this for 8 years now. We were definitely one of the first movers in this industry. At least in Michigan, as far as like social media and leveraging that goes for selling homes.
I love that you said that because like I feel the same way. Like you have 1 million lenders, you have 1 million real estate agents. The information might be the same, but the message is always different. The message you're getting from me and the message you're getting from you and some other people, you put me in the room with anyone else, see you bye. Same with you, right? That as soon as you know that there's a true professional in the room with you, the information, but the message is totally different. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we try to aim for. Like we're okay with the competition. We know that it's out there. We know that a lot of people are leveraging social media, but we really want to focus on like our core values. And that's, our culture and, staying productive and giving the right information, caring about our clients. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. And that's naturally going to make you shine. Regardless if someone's doing the same exact thing. How many diet fad books are there, right? Everyone should be walking around with six-pack abs, but they're not. They have a secret to six-pack abs, but they don't. And just like you're giving everyone the playbook, but it's always going to be different because it's coming from you.
All right, get the professional advice here. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. Again, hey, guys, you got to do those debt consolidations. That's right. Don't pay 18% or higher on those credit cards. You got that equity in your house, maybe just run those numbers by us. We'll tell you what the right thing to do is. Let us run the numbers. The numbers don't lie. People are telling some people to do some bad things, but the numbers will dictate how to save money in today's marketplace. Use that equity properly. don't drain that equity out. Again, you got to have at least 20% equity in your house. It's a good place to start. So debt consolidation loans, Becky, of course, we're always jamming on those, and we've been busy with them.
Yeah, I'm still doing cash out refinances. Refinancing has not slowed down for me because everything's situational, right? A lot of people, 2020, 2021, it was hard for a lot of families and they racked up a lot of their credit card debt. And it doesn't make sense for you to continue to pay 29% on a credit card when you can easily leverage that and still pay in the fives overall and save $1,000 a month. The reason why I'm using $1,000 a month is because I'm saving someone literally $1,000 a month this month right now. So it's all situational, but you have to call. You're not using your home as a piggy bank, but it is your biggest investment that you can turn around and put money back into yourself.
All right, it's a reality and reminder that these markets can shift very quickly, but still a shining star out there has been real estate. I wish, again, I mentioned it earlier, I wish I owned a few extra properties right now and wasn't so heavily invested as the stock market obviously has been taking a tumble. Our 401k is our retirement. All right, don't look at them. If you're not liquidating anything, I guess it doesn't matter what it's worth today. It's what it's worth in.
Just wait till it comes back. We're in a cycle. It's all good.
You're not going to refinance it or do anything with it. Leave it alone. All right, Eric Wright. And, of course, the great Yaz, Abdul Latif. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us here. It's been great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
It.
All right. Social House Group. Again, they're awesome real estate agents. A lot of fun. Find out, check them out definitely online. And we will see you guys back here on the show for sure. Hey, for Becky Ailey, I'm Hari Freed. These guys are great. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We will see you next week.